Hi, and welcome back. It's Bobby Shields with Dogbone Knives, and I have an update. I have, thank you very much to all the new subscribers, have reached the 50 mark. Now, we hadn't drawed the winner yet, but it's soon to be, and I'll let them know. So, I just want to put this out here, that you need to unlock all your information so that I can see all of the subscribers' information there. So I can assign a number to a name and let my granddaughter pick it, like I said I would earlier. So this is for 50. This is the center scribe. There's no graduation. There's no ruler or anything on it. You just simply set it there and tighten it down, and it'll hold you center. Everything. This is unused. It's brand new, unused. Here is mine. See how it's used? Everything. So I actually have another one of these. This is the one actually that I use all the time. This one is. I've got the other one for a spare. Well, I was making, I just went ahead and made two, and then I made this one, just so I could give it away. Polished it up real good and everything. So I think you could buy these for about 30 or 40 bucks, maybe 45, something like that. So anyway, it's never been used. I'll buff it up and clean it up a little bit more, and I'll send it out to that just as soon as I get all the information. I hate to leave somebody out, so just make sure that all your information's are where I can see all 50 plus subscribers. So that, like I said, I don't want to leave anybody out, but if I can't get your information on my page, I hate to give it away without having 50 listed, people listed, or at least 50 people listed there with all their information. But anyway, when that happens, I'll get a hold of whoever wins and try to contact them and get their mailing information, and I'll put this in an envelope and send it to you. Again, thank you for getting to the 50, and we look forward to doing a whole lot more. And like I said, I've got a knife for the 200. When I get 200, I give a knife away, and then we'll do one at 1,000, and we'll try to do one at every 1,000 after that. Everything. Hopefully this channel will grow, and as my business develops and I move from this little 10 by 10 workshop here that's I'm got sharing with 2 freezers and shelving and everything else. So this was never really intended to be a knife shop. It was just intended to be a little storage building and a little tinkering shed. Well, I'm tinkering quite a bit. But anyway, thank you for getting on up there to my 50 to start with. Thank you. Okay. Now, I've done posted a link or a video about finding steel. Okay. Now, today we're going to say design. Don't matter what kind of steel you got, if you don't have a design, it's hard to turn that steel into a knife or a implement to cut, a bladed weapon, anything, whatever you want to do. You can make knives, and this you have to think about. What do you want to do with this knife? Do you want to cut apples, slice, peel apples? You want to, make you a kitchen knife, paring knife, a toenail knife, a rope knife for something, just whatever. Do you want to make a gutting blade, a skinning blade, a general purpose blade, a fantasy blade, whatever. The list is endless. You can make one out of whatever material you find, from mild steel to titanium. Yes, please. It's like this knife. I don't have it cut out or anything yet. This is a design that I've come up with a purpose behind it. Now, this right here's got this negative arch in it. Right here. This is for cutting. This area right here. This hook right here is for cutting rope. And it'd be a dull around through here to keep from knocking a hole. The power company is having some boys trim back the trees away from my power line. They's up here, and one of the fellers there is a river guide and does whitewater rafting. So he seen that, and he looked at my knives and everything like that, and he said, you know, I need a knife that I can cut rope with, that I can hand to anybody, and they can cut rope, but they won't cut a hole in the raft, in the rubber raft. I won't cut a hole in it if I drop the knife or whatever like that. Well, that's a dull edge right there. This right here, the cutting edge is higher than the dropping edge on that. There's nothing there. It'd be just a little, like a big gut hook knife. So you can get a rope and pull it through it and just cut it real quick. Or if you got time to slice it like that. Now, I don't have any stainless steel to do this. Stainless steel would be ideal for this. I don't have any stainless steel for this. I'm going to make this prototype out of mild steel. I just laid it out. This is what you say is design. I'm just using this as an example. Take whatever's in your mind that you want in your mind's eye. When you close your eyes and you see a knife, I want you to open your eyes and draw that knife. It don't have to be pretty. You can tell, like when I was doing heating and air conditioning, when I was making fittings and stuff of the heating and the ductwork, when I was making metal ductwork and everything else like that, they always said a mechanic, a master, makes one mark. A journeyman makes two. And an apprentice marks all over the place. Okay, so there it is, marked all over the place. And with it being cut out on paper, or cardstock, what this is, it happens to be one of the boxes, glove boxes that I've run out of gloves in. So I just use the cardboard or the pasteboard to make a template. I make it to where it fits my hand. My hand. You make yours to fit your hand. This is the whole purpose of this little exercise, is to design and make a knife for you, for yourself. Now, there's a few things that you need to have. Steel is one of them. You need a piece of steel. Okay, check. I've told you where to get them, from 12-inch file, farrier's rasp. You can get all that stuff. Find one at a flea market or something. Just an old file, and then or like in my son's case, just an old butcher knife that you want to cut down. You think it's got a decent tip on it, or whatever part of it, and it's decent steel, and you don't have the ways and means of hardening and tempering and stuff right at the minute. But you have something that will grind. You can't do it with a file. File won't cut a knife, a knife blade, especially an old knife blade, because they really work good. So you got an angle grinder. You can run to Walmart and get one for less than $20, and with the blades on it, you can do every bit of this with an angle grinder. There's no reason whatsoever that you can't do this with an angle grinder. You need something to hold it down, whether it's your foot or whether it's a spring clamp like this, 99 cents at Home Depot. 99 cents. Do that. Get a vise. Vices, you can get a vise for about 30 bucks at Harbor Freight. Have them shipped to you. Or you might find one at the same flea market for nearly nothing. You don't have to go wild. You don't have to run out and buy a $5,000 or $6,000 belt grinder with all the bells and whistles and all this. And you don't need the Peregrine ovens, which now don't get me wrong. I mean, when I can afford one, I'm going to get one. But you can do everything with. It depends on what your knife is. Now, stainless steel, you have to sand that off if you're not equipped for that, and it can be around $10 or $15 or more a blade to have them heat treated. One at a time. If you send 100, you get 100 of them, a whole lot cheaper than you could get it per knife than you could over just one or two. I think there's Peterson. I think it's one of them that will do it, and they probably several others around. I've always done it myself. I hadn't done it in stainless steel because I don't have any stainless. But you can use this. Equipped with MAP gas. Get it hot. MAP gas is a little hotter than propane in the green tanks or butane in the blue tanks that you get for these. MAP's just a little bit hotter, and so that's something to do. Like I said, you get you a file, Farrier's, rasp, whatever like that. Get you an angle grinder with some good wheels on it. You can get flap discs and everything to do the final sanding and stuff till you get down to your hand sanding. But you got to have steel. You have to have something to make the knife out of. 2, which this one is, the design. Whatever your design is, put it on paper first. Take a ruler and pencil, make it, play with it, take a pair of scissors, cut it out, put it on a little bit of cardstock. If you've got some piece of wood, there, a little thin piece of plywood, like 1/4-inch Luan or something like that, transfer this to that. Take a saw, cut it out. Take your file and you round the edges and you fix it and everything else like that. And you try it in your hand. You make it fit in your hand. Get it, make sure that it does everything that you want it to do. Do you want it to cut? You just feel how it feels. See how your fingers go across it on the back of it and stuff like that. See? That's what a lot of people do. They use it like this. Only this one won't be used like this, but that don't mean that you can't make it comfortable to use in any situation. Put your thumb on it. Give you a little bit of pressure on this negative arch here. Same way with this. You want to make sure you got that it will hold in your hand good when you reach and pull a piece of rope or anything through there. Like I said, I'm just using this as an example. Now, this was just based off one conversation, one 5-minute conversation or less, just one. I come up with this. He's not seen it yet because it's been raining and everything and not been back. So if he likes it and wants one, then I will commit to buying a piece of stainless steel, and I will do all the work on it and everything, get it done. Then I'll send it off and have it heat treated, because you have to get them up to a certain temperature and you have to hold them for a certain temperature at that temperature for a certain amount of time, and then you got to quench it in air. Most stainless steel quenches in air, but you got to cool it down quick. Most people want it, they claim, between 2 1-inch aluminum slabs, so it'll suck the heat out of it real quick. I've seen people do it on YouTube, or do it with them plates, then put air, compressed air to it to help cool it down even faster. And so it's air hardened steel. But anyway, this would be a design here that naturally, and I would put instead of putting bone handle on it, I'd put probably micarta or something there that you can sand and shape and everything, give a little rougher texture so that it don't slide out of your wet hands. You know, you need to think about it just a little bit, you know, about your handle and your design, your blade shape, design, form, function. And that's the reason if you can do it, draw it out on paper and then put it on pasteboard like this, poster stock, card stock, whatever you want to call it, and then go to a thin piece of wood and cut it out. Use a hacksaw or whatever to cut it out, a sawzall, jigsaw, whatever on the wood. Then we'll do this and cut it out. Like I said, this is just a random knife shape form, like I said, off of one conversation. That's my take on it. I've looked at river knives, raft knives on Amazon and all these other places, and they're nothing like this. They're nothing like this at all. I had this design before I even started looking at it. Come in just as soon as he started talking to me on it. I come in and designed this while he was up in a tree, and I didn't have it finalized into a shape. This is about the third or fourth rendition of this knife. I didn't knock it out of the park on the first pitch. No, I swung, I missed, and so I had 2 more tries, or to hit it, or an extra one to let it go by. So this is what I come up with. Now, whether he'll like it or not, I don't know. But anyway, now if we're going to use a file, if you're going to use a file, like I said in the Finding Steel on your design, you heat this up. This is hard. This is very, very hard. This will break before it does anything. Now, granted, you can leave all this on it, mark it off, and cut it out with an angle grinder without stopping it. Without softening it. Yes, you can do that with an angle grinder and do it. Get it down. And then take a flap wheel and smooth your bevels out and everything else like that, and just use this for a handle and glue something straight to it. Shape your handle and maybe glue something straight to it, because you don't have the ability to drill a hole in this to help hold it on there with pins. Epoxy is good. Pins is good. They're great when they're together, especially if this is wore slick. Just down and cleaned out really good. You can soak it in vinegar, and that'll help loosen anything in it. Help strip the oils and everything off of it, because once oil gets in the file, it's in the file for a long time. You can get it out with sawdust, shove it down in there for a while, clean it up, spray it real good and everything, but everything you put on there to clean it will make it rust. So you got to watch that. This, like I said, this high carbon steel, and it's been hardened, heated to a specific time for a specific length, and then quenched, and then however else they want to finish it. I know they're proprietary. They don't want to give away secrets on how they do all that. But anyway, so this right here is a design that I come up with. This is the Bowie knife that's on my DBK sign underneath the DBK. It's a Bowie knife. Now, I have laid it out, put it here on tape and everything. I've done the end of it there right now, just with my angle grinder. It ain't finished. I mean, it's not even close. This is 1080 steel, by the way. I didn't have any 1095 2 inches wide. That's what this is, 2 inches. Now back here's a handle area right there. Notice I've not done anything to it. I've not yet decided if I want to do a full tang or if I want to go ahead and do the antler tang that I have. What did I do with them? I just had them right here. Use this antler right here, this shed antler, for the handle base on it. It's got a little crack in it. It's bleached out. I can soak it in some wood hardener. You can get it, I think it's a pint bottle of it or something like that for about 12, maybe a quart, about $12 or $13. And you just soak it in there and it just sucks it up and when you take it out and let it dry, it turns it hard as a rock. Then I can stain this. I've got some walnut hulls I can mix with a little bit of alcohol and use it for a good stain. It'll turn it black or dark brown, or if nothing else, I could always use coffee grounds in it and alcohol, and let that strip the color out of the coffee grounds, and then use that for a stain. That'll work. I've done that before. This stain right here, I tried a little piece of stain on it. It does pretty good. It's a dark wood stain. It's a deck and patio stain. So that's it's not for a handle or anything else like that. I thought it might be. Thought I might try to thin it down a little bit, maybe a little boiled linseed oil, and get that done. But anyway, this I think is what I'm going to use for that. So I want to leave this handle area alone for right now. Right here, I want to leave that part of it alone till I get the tip ground the way I want. And on this knife right here, this area right here, if you can see it right there, I can see a lot of reflection there, is for a fuller right there. It's not going to be super deep, but it's going to be deep enough for to help, it makes it a little bit stronger, makes it like an I-beam, and it makes it look good too. And then, like I said, it's 1080, so it will hum on pretty good. Probably hum on better than the 1095. But I like using the 1095 because it's a little bit higher carbon in it, and that goes along with my line of thinking. The reason I don't do stainless steel is a knife's a tool. It ought to be used as such. And the only unitasker that they are in tools, in my opinion, is a fire extinguisher. That's it. Everything else should do more than one or two things there. I mean, it should. I mean, in all honesty, it should. So, that's the reason I like doing it in high carbon steel. So you can use a rock, some char cloth, and spark it and start a fire. And on my survival knives, where I put that bearing in the handle, you can use it for a bearing block, for a bow setup, for a bow drill setup. Now, I've not done the bow drill thing or anything else like that, but I have done it with spark. Just take a knife blade and a rock and some char cloth, and just in a couple of swats, I had a burning ember. So I know they work like that. So what was I going to? Oh yeah, right here I made a little tool. Okay, got a rubber handle. Seen a tool like this, kind of, sort of similar on Walter Sorrells' his channel. He gives a lot of tips for the knife maker, which is good. I mean, he really does a fantastic job. I mean, a whole lot better than I probably could. But anyway, I seen this on. He made one for doing his Japanese swords. and everything, and it's a little different than that, but this is what I come up with. Okay, now here's a cutter right there. I think I've pretty much got most of this on film. If I don't, I'll take it apart and reassemble it and explain about how everything is right here. This is a block of 7/8 steel, 7/8 square stock. It's mild steel, and I drilled a 3/8 hole in it and tapped it to put the handle in. Put a jam nut on it. I drilled some 1032, 832 holes here and here on both sides and tapped them. I drilled a through hole right here and tapped it for the hole to cutter in. This cutter with this thread right here is all one piece. I ground it and just made a plow out of it. I drilled a hole in the bottom of it right there and put a spacer right there to keep me from going too deep with this. It's a scraper. It's not a cutter. It's a scraper. You have to hand scrape it. And then I put this on there as an edge guide, so that all I have to worry about is putting pressure down and pulling. Pressure down and pulling. And then that ought to do it, and it'll work on both sides the same way. Well, I got it centered up and fixed this for this particular knife anyway. So I don't think I'll be doing a whole lot of fullering other than this one. And if I do, I'll get some sort of little mini mill or something there, or a dual waste vise or cross feed vise there, so I can roll in with a ball nose bit in my drill press and just set it at that and try that and see what I can do with that. You know, a lot of tools you don't need. A lot of tools doing certain things you need, but they'll do more than just what you need at the time. So tools is always a good investment, especially if I multitask, you know. But anyway, like I said, right here I got this done to do the fuller with, and I'll try to show this at a later date, but not now. But anyway, it goes right there. I've scratched it a time or two, just down through there, and just pull it down. And it's got the tape pulled off of it. So anyway, this is that. But like I said, on your design, everything, this just popped into my head, you know, about making this. I thought, well, if I'm going to do a fuller, I need something I can do a fuller with. And I thought scraper. And I thought Walter Sorrells. Seen one of them on his here not too long ago back. So I made my version. And when it comes to sanding, this right here is nothing more than an old cutting board. It was just cut all the pieces, scratched everything out, and was discarded. And so I got it and I cut it down and made it work. You know, so reappropriate things. If things has got one particular job and you can make it do something else when it's done with its life on that job, hey, that's monkey tool time. That's how you get this. That's what I call monkey tools, is whatever works. If you could take something else and adapt it to do a job that it was not meant to be done for, then that's a monkey tool in my opinion. I've got a video called Monkey Tools. You know, so if you have monkey tools, I know everybody wants to call them the little rivets that the blacksmith uses, you know, to make rivets and to set rivets and make tenons and stuff like that. They call that a monkey tool. Well, okay, that's pretty much one tool, you know, to do that with. Monkey tools is tools to be used on multiple jobs, doing multiple jobs. That's what I call them. Anyway, so like I said, again, thank you for getting me up to the 50 subscribers. Be sure to unlock all your information so I can get everybody in on this draw. If not, I'll be, I'll have to just go with what ones I can see. And I don't want to leave anybody out, because everybody is equally entitled to be in this giveaway. Everybody. And like I said, you don't have to be a patron. You don't have to support my channel other than just subscribe to it. Which, if you want to, that would be great too. I mean, I'm not doing anything and putting it on Patreon or anything like that. And, like most people, well, not most, but some people put it on Patreon so that you can watch it a couple of days early before it comes out to the general populace. But I don't do that. I mean, I'm here for learning, education. I get just as much as I give out of it. If I can, like I've said 100 times, if I hit my finger doing something and it stops one person from hitting their finger by doing the same thing, well, I've taught somebody something, as well as myself. Don't do that again. It hurts. So, anyway, that's what I always try to strive for, to teach what I learn. I don't know it all, but I know enough I know just enough to be dangerous. So you can take that for what it is. But if there's something that you think that I can help you with, just feel free to contact me. Hey, I answer all those comments and everything else like that. Emails in my abouts and everything else, and on the other, the Finding Steel, I left descriptions and links in the descriptions so you can get steel. If you want to order it, whatever like that, they have most everything that you want. And like I said, thank you again for the 50 plus, hopefully, and on up. Until next time, be safe, wear your safety glasses, and God bless.